Yes, we do. 1, 2, 3.
I wasn't counting.
He can help you later.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Emergency Committee of the Whole meeting. I'm Gary Grekus. I'll be conducting the meeting tonight. We will begin with approval of the minutes for the meeting. For November 14th, 2023. I did see that there was an updated one sent out, so other than that, is there any other changes? All right. And do I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
One second.
I will second it.
All in favor?
Okay.
Wonderful. And I just need to note as well that Rosalba Dominguez has been excused from the meeting. Okay, we will move forward with a discussion on an updated multi-jurisdictional automatic bid, mutual aid, fire, training, emergency medical and other services agreement, and we have Chief Middleman presenting.
Sorry, that's a mouthful.
No worries, thanks.
Our attorney's defense, he did attempt to shorten that title, but overall, we did decide to just leave it as is.
For sure, he tried to shorten your home.
Yeah, that's it, all of it. So, well, thanks for the opportunity to see if we can update our auto aid agreement. To give you a little background on the auto aid agreement that is in the packet. This has been part of the auto aid agreement since 2008. We updated it roughly 5 years ago in 2018. And some of the things that needed to be updated in the auto aid agreement is we've added a few outliers of it, and so that assisted, as well as our dispatch has changes to it, and our IMT, which is the incident management. So I created a quick PowerPoint to go over it. There's 17 cities in total that are in this auto aid agreement. Somehow they roped me into being the chair of our Salt Lake Valley Chiefs Alliance, and so I have the fine opportunity to collect signatures for this, and so this being our city is one. The nice part about that is within that allowed me to involve our attorney's office in the restructuring of the agreement, and then a couple other corrections within it. I will say we didn't get everything because we didn't want to stir it up too much, but we did get a few changes that were positive within how we feel it should be legally written for the auto aid agreement. Would that be a fair?
It is.
Okay. So there's three main terms in your auto aid agreement that are out there. There's automatic aid, mutual aid, and then the IMT. And the IMT is the incident management team. The automatic aid is what you guys see on a daily basis. And that would be, Unified coming in, actually just barely an hour ago. We had an auto accident out on I-215, and it came in at 200 West, and it was actually at 200 East, and so we had 126, which is in Midvale, the Unified, and then we had 82 responding out on there, and then Battalion 81 went there, and then they pulled 117 going in one direction, and then all of us just get together, and it was a 7-car pileup. I think we transported 3 patients, is what I heard there, out of there. Everybody that I heard, I didn't hear any bad things.
This is the one with the freeway?
Yeah, just barely.
Just barely, yeah. The helicopter was over about.
Yeah, and I apologize for that silence. Here I am in the meeting. Please, everybody, silence their phone, including the presenter.
No worries.
Turn on my
We
radio
forgive
too. So that would be the example of automatic aid. I know you guys. I probably shouldn't start with a call that we were just on.
That's a great example. No.
So that's how we utilize the automatic aid. It also, what we're on right now is AVL, and that stands for Automatic Vehicle Locator System. And so you get part of the agreement goes over how we're dispatched and so forth. And I have some stats because I'm sure you guys have a few questions about that, and I'll get to that in just a minute.
I have a question about the
yeah.
accident.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so it was on I-15,
Yes, correct.
so
Oh,
then.
I-250.
I-250.
Going to
Oh,
I-15 is how it
250.
came across, but it officially was all on I-15.
So highway patrol was part of that as well?
Yes, correct.
And are they in the,
They're not in our automatic aid agreement for fire, because this is just for the fire EMS response.
they don't have EMS?
No, not highway patrol. They do have their patrol officers. Some of them are EMTs, but they're not required to be EMTs. But they're actually covered underneath our state agreement that's actually state legislation. And so we just have a blending working relationship underneath the legislature. So let's say, for example, we go out to Tooele. Well, North Tooele is on this agreement, but regular Tooele is not. And so we can go out there and help them on the state agreement. The difference is how you actually accept the resources to
Okay.
go across. Yeah, and we do make some small, rules that goes through, whether it be the mayor's office or myself, if somebody was in an extenuating circumstance, such as, let's say there was a large hazmat issue going down in Provo. Provo's not on this agreement, but oftentimes it's a state resource, we can be called up on that. Some of those, the difference on if you're not on this list is you could in theory bill for some of those services when you call them up.
Oh, okay.
In the history of the city, we have not ever billed for anything we've sent out. Or we've never sent anything for extenuating circumstances to that city. We have billed for like our wildland system. That is something that oftentimes we sent an ambulance down to the Spanish Fork fire like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe somewhere around there. My memory is not great with connecting how many years ago it was, but and then obviously we did the Idaho fire this year as well as the California fire, and we bill out for those as well.
Thank you.
The other one is mutual aid. Mutual aid would be that resource that I said are a little bit different of a situation. So we can call out for a mutual aid, such as like Murray is part of a hazmat team that could respond out on a little bit more in-depth. It's not emergent, but maybe they need booms for their river that goes through, or out in daybreak. They need a set of 300 feet of booms, and we carry those booms which catch the oil collection, because since we have a major thoroughfare of the rivers going through our city, that's important to us. And so we could deploy our equipment out there, and that would be an example of mutual aid. But they call for us specifically, they say, we would like Murray to come out. And that would be for the initial 12 hours of their situation. We have helped out longer than that, but it's the same thing, they've helped us longer than that on certain situations. If you remember the fire that was up just as 215 bends around, that fire for Unified, it was this huge house, like 15,000 square feet.
Yep.
That would have
I
rolled
remember
into
that.
a mutual aid. And they were on it for like 2 weeks because the house was so segregated, there was fire, and they were pulling bulldozers in and to pull it out and put out the fire, pull it out. And now they've reconstructed it, and there's a huge, ginormous house there again. So, yeah,
Good
interesting.
to have insurance.
Yeah, that it is. I'm sure they were very grateful, even though if you have that house, I'm sure you have plenty of money. I'm sure you always appreciate having a house still. So, incident management team. This is the new area. This is exciting for me to have in the agreement. What we've done as fire chiefs is we've gotten together and in emergency management overall, there's what they call ESF positions, and those ESF positions are for like housing, planning, logistics, all of the different parts of your EOC, which is your Emergency Operations Center, which ours is down at Station 83, and then we could have a backup here at City Hall as well. This is the secondary Emergency Operations Center. And so we would deploy currently in Murray and every city. We actually have our initial response, which would be the mayor is our chief in command, and then I would be over operations with the police chief as well as the chief of staff, and then we would make overall decisions. I put my operations chief in charge of fire operations. Kim Sorensen is in charge of housing. Russ Cackle is in charge of like traffic and routing stuff. Kim Fong is our volunteers coordinator, and they each get specialty training in these when we run our drills. What an IMT team does is those very items, but we go qualify those individuals for these situations. So say we had the unfortunate situation that happened down in Las Vegas with that active shooter, and that just causes mass chaos. There's a lot of folks that were affected by that. It gets pretty in-depth. Oftentimes, city function on those ESF positions with Kim Fong and Kim Sorensen and Russ and everybody else of our department heads, they do just fine in many situations. But in some situations, you may want an actual team that is just dialed in for these situations. And that's what the IMT is. And so we have, like Nick Haskin, our emergency manager, is a logistics specialist. So he's doing actually what Russ Kakala is our ESF logistics specialist within Murray City. But what Nick knows is our entire state of logistics. And so if we're going to reach out to state logistics, there's only one emergency going on, we can call on these IMT folks. They come out for the first 4 days, and then they just get us dialed in. It's free of charge. And the giving part that we have is if they call out, Nick's plan is to then go out and deploy out as the logistics chief over that area. So, knock on wood, we don't plan on using this, but it's always good to have in the agreement, just in case. So, all right. A couple other noteworthy items. We do training monthly. We have it. What it's called is Live Fire Tuesdays. It took me a second. We send out and we house some of these Live Fire Tuesdays in the springtime. I had sent over to Jennifer the schedule of our training that's here, and that's a valley-wide training. And so this is the agreement that we will follow to be able to blend all of us together in our stations with liability insurance and so forth. And so that's really neat. We also have the equipment. In the past, we've borrowed West Valley's fire engine for about 4 months at a time. When we were struggling, right now we're doing great on our equipment. As far as we have plenty, but there have been times where we've exchanged equipment. No more than 6 months can we lend out our equipment to another department within the agreement. This contract does terminate 5 years from now, although it does have an auto renewal period. However, even if we didn't want to be, we have to have some sort of an agreement by our state licensure if we're wanting to run an EMS and fire service in the city. So, and I already mentioned that the attorneys were updated. Here's just some neat information, and you guys may have. I'm your next presenter anyway, so if I go a little bit long, I'm okay.
Yeah. That's what I just looked at. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, you're fine too.
But I am thumbing it up. But if you guys have a lot of questions on this part, you guys will have me on January 16th. But this is our auto aid agreement, and these are our calls all over. I've done a heat map as well, and I can send Jennifer over these PowerPoints. I just put this together. Yep, please do it. Then here's just some interesting numbers. Murray case number. Our case number is not the calls that we've actually gone on due to the automatic aid, because some other agencies take, but the case number, they just tally how many calls have happened in Murray. This year, we're at 5,764. However, we've been on 6,436 calls, which is a little bit of a flag for me, because I say, ooh, we've been on more calls than what we're actually producing. We're kind of giving a little bit more than we're receiving. We want it to try and be even. So then I said, you guys are probably going to have me some questions over this, and I won't have time in this presentation to answer them, but I can answer them on that July 6th or January 16th. It could be July too, I don't know. The difference is about 672 calls more. When I looked at cases, we are missing about 582 calls that another agency is handling inside of Murray. In UFA, we're handling about 1,105 of their cases. In South Salt Lake, we're handling 91 of their cases. They're handling about 195 of our cases. So it's this intermixing, mingling of cases. My next thing is, do you guys have any questions? You may have some questions that I can kind of quickly answer here, but I can also, if this interests you, I can spend more time on this on January 16th about our department. It's a little bit different than the automatic aid, but this agreement is, this is the background behind what's going on the agreement. And I think that's important for you guys to understand, because it involves the budget and our calls and where fiscal money is going.
Yeah, I have some questions about this, but I'll wait and have them later.
Okay.
I don't have to ask them right now, but it seems kind of obvious why.
Yeah. And feel free to send any of your, I don't know if that's legal, if they can send me questions before, but if you can, feel free to send them, and I'll make sure I include them in the PowerPoint. I'm okay on the fly, but I can draw up all kinds of data from our new program continuum. And I've showed the mayor's office that, and I think Doug was like, this is really cool. So that was kind of neat to, I've never heard him say that, so I was like, no.
That doesn't sound his style.
He may have said a different word, but I can't repeat it, no. Alright, any other questions?
We
Looks
will
good.
revisit that though, right?
Yes, there is, on the council meeting on January 2nd is the council meeting. You guys are scheduled to approve this auto aid agreement. My recommendation is, I know you guys may not have, or all of your questions answered before then. The agreement, I was a little bit leery about, like, should I just skim over it? But I'm like, no, they need to know. I would strongly suggest we still move forward on signing this agreement, because we can adjust.
And have them do what you said. We can include Jennifer and I on the email. And have them ask questions.
And, and my plan on the council meeting, I wasn't gonna go over all of this, but I'm happy to go over all of this on the council meeting too. It's, however is best for you guys and the citizens to make sure they know.
Wonderful. All right, moving on to the second item, a discussion on an ordinance amending sections 15.24.010 and 15.24.020 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to the International Fire Code and collected permit fees. Again, Chief Middleman here.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were missing you.
This one is an exciting part for me. If you guys remember when I had the opportunity to be sitting in Fire Marshal Foles' position, I love talking about fire prevention. I love talking about codes and how we can prevent fires. I got a lot of gratification over my career from going into fires and then assisting people. I did decide after we went out to second graders and we started teaching them about fire safety, it's so much cooler to actually prevent some of the stuff that could be prevented out there. So that's where I'll lead into our code adoption and fee schedule. The new code adoption reads as this: the 2021 International Fire Code and appendices B, C, and D as promulgated by the International Fire Code incorporated in pursuant of state law applicable on its entirety in the city. The city also adopts the national standards in pursuant to state law. A couple of things on our passcode that it mentioned in there. Instead of saying the year of the code, it just said the International Fire Code. I really like the year in there as well as our appendices, because it clearly identifies to our contractors which codes they should be looking at. It was in the past promulgated by the State Fire Board. That was actually never true to my knowledge, and so I pulled that out. I said, that's an error. They're not actually who approves the fire code, the Fire Prevention Board. And so anyhow, we had that in there, and I'm not for sure how that, it was probably a confusion at some point, but I'm very in depth of, it's the state legislature that officially approves the 2021 code, and it got approved in July, well, back on this last session, but it was officially went into effect July 1st of 2023. And when I started looking at our code that was set to just roll over, I said, I think it's more important you guys see the code every time the state adopts it. I should be bringing it to you. So here I am now, bringing this code to you. And making sure that we're all up to snuff there. If you guys have some questions about the code, feel free to ask. I have about 180 slides of all the what did change in it. I was pretty sure you didn't want to see that.
Thank you very much.
So, yeah. Any questions on the code before I go on to the fee structure, even though it's all in one ordinance? Because there's two ordinances that are within this update. All right. The next ordinance involves fire prevention and the fee structure. To give you an idea, in fire prevention, we have a fire marshal that's full-time, and that's, Assistant Chief Poles that we have behind me, and then we have a deputy fire marshal, captain, and that is Steve Roberson. And then we have 3 part-time inspectors that do the majority of the work. That is Scott White, he works about 29 hours a week. We have Mont Cooper, and he does 22 hours a week, and then George Saboro that does 15 hours a week. What do they do? And this is our goal, our task list for them. In plan review, they do about 160 life safety, sprinkler, and fire alarm plan reviews. Jeff does all of those through that. And then annual inspections. Our goal is to hit all 4,000. I won't say we're hitting that. I'll show you a slide in just a minute of what we actually are hitting. And then annual life safety inspections 450, and you guys go through the list. One I want to point out is the construction inspections. Up at Murray Square, we had roughly 421 units that were built up there, and that's the old Kmart site. Scott, or Inspector White, was up there, and he was up there roughly about 180 times in the last 2 years, or 2 years, somewhere in there.
Over 2 years.
It's a lot. He did over 50 inspection hours up there. Some of those are quick visits, others are, an hour and a half visit. Or one time we had 7 of us up there. I went up there, we were doing their final alarm test, and we go through every floor, every apartment, we look to make sure the alarm's going off, to make sure everything's working. You would think the quality control, you could trust contractors and everything, but unfortunately we find that all kinds of errors in these. And so our goal is to make sure we mitigate those errors before they take occupancy, because these are important in commercial and residential, commercial and residential. They do some other stuff like fire investigation, community risk reductions, but this is where the fee structure lies. In the review of the cost and the recovery within our current fee schedule doesn't even come close to covering the costs. So when you look at about $65,000 part-time is slid towards doing these tasks, and then you have a full-time, fire marshal and a full-time deputy fire marshal. That's a lot of money out there. And so I started wondering, and as well as Fire Marshal Poles started wondering, it's like, what are we compared to other cities? When we opened this can, we started looking, we're like, we know we're never going to recover all of this money that it costs to run these things. Because part of it's a service as a city we provide. However, are we charging the appropriate fees? And we found, we are well behind our other cities. And Brenda said, hey, you can't think that way. But what you need to think is, what is your actual cost for doing the service that we're providing? And so when we looked at plan reviews, we're pretty close on that. That's about $150 to review a set of plans. And then we also do a third-party review of these plans out there. And they have to pay extra for a third party. So they go through our fire marshal, Jeff Poles, as well as a third party that is qualified and certified just like Fire Marshal Poles is, and they do all the checks on every single little device on this plans, and a lot of these plans are like 300 pages for like the Murray Square, and other ones are 2 pages because they're just a small tenant improvement, and they have 20 sprinkler heads, so everything in between. With that, our plan review, we felt pretty good to leave at $150. Our construction inspections, we were never charging anything for this. So when Scott went out over the Murray Square, really when we look at that, how I feel in it, and I want you guys to make sure that you guys are aware, is our wages, you guys just pull off the property taxes and business, but if we would like, we can institute a construction inspection schedule, as one of the ones on here. And that is $50, I believe, pulls something out of,
Construction inspection?
yes, that's it, so $50 per inspection. And just a
Wow.
base, that would cover our part-time wages or our deputy fire marshal wages when they go out. Sometimes that takes 30 minutes, sometimes it takes an hour. So if you look at each time a flow riser, we would charge $50, and so above the grid, which is when they take the earthquake bracing. Like this floating ceiling here has sprinklers up above it, and there's little hangers that are in there, and so we check those to make sure in the event of an emergency, you don't just bust and then flood the whole place down and so forth. We make sure like the escutcheons and they have to have the tape off them. It's amazing what they have error-wise in these places. I think I'm still on, because I'm a geek, Scott's email, our Inspector White, and so I receive when he sends out our corrections on, our forms. And so I get these emails, and he probably sends like 3 or 4 errors at least every single day that he's out there. A lot of them are passes, and hey, we checked and we passed, but he's finding all of these things. So sometimes we do have to go back. On re-inspections, that's part of this as well, is we would like to say, you know what, when you call us out there, you need to actually have it. We can't continue to come back and give you city money. We don't want to be like the stickler, like unwelcoming, but what we want to do is encourage them and say, you know what, you can check all this stuff, here's your list, all you gotta do is walk through your own building, we don't
So
need
do
to
you
pull
charge
tape.
them again another $50?
If we
You go out the second time?
we're not currently, but that's what we would be going to.
Well,
Currently,
I
we
think,
don't charge
well,
for any inspection
They
of
do
that.
when they have to come and fix my air conditioner or my furnace, they'll recharge me again.
Yeah. I agree. So,
Well, and that might entice them to be a little
Yeah.
more responsible.
it does, and that's one of the largest things, I think that has changed in the last 4 years, because everybody's changed their fee structure, is your workers in construction, I'm trying to put this the best way possible. They've changed a little bit, and their quality of work has maybe what we've seen gone down a little bit, and that causes us as inspectors to be out there a little bit more. I don't like the word babysitting, but unfortunately, we're doing a little bit of babysitting. So to help guide that superintendent on site, this is one of the tools we can utilize to guide them in the right direction.
I wouldn't have any objection in charging them again.
So,
I would not. I mean, we're trying to get my daughter's sprinklers fixed in her condo.
yeah. So, I'm sure, I don't know what the city has if, small businesses or somebody that's trying to waive these fees. I'm sure we have a fee waiver or something, but I'm not too worried because these are pretty small numbers overall. They're not thousands of dollars there. So as we cruise through some of these, do you guys have any questions on the construction inspections? Yeah. Currently, right now, we do 1,000 annual business inspections, and we just charge a
Wow.
business license. Now, remember, there's about 4,000 businesses in Murray. We would only charge a inspection to those that we actually go out and do the inspection on. So say, for example, you have a home daycare, they're required to get a business license. If we're not actually going out to do an inspection, we're not going to charge them the $75 of an annual life safety inspection. So that wouldn't happen. But if by chance you're, say the sweet, Garco, let's say you're one of the businesses down in Garco and we're in there. If we're gonna go and inspect and we have these high profile, then we wanna include that into your business license fee, that you're higher profile and we're sending out somebody, but we're giving you a service. Before, we've always provided that service for free. And when we looked around our neighboring cities, we don't feel like we're placing the city in an unfair environment.
So the other cities around us are doing this.
Correct. So,
Do you have a list of them?
We
And
do.
charges?
You could send it to me.
Yeah, we can send it, sorry we didn't bring it over here. And they're kinda all over the place a little bit. I will give you some good financial advice that I heard from a gal in the back there, Brenda. That we never charge according to other neighboring cities, however, we thought it was a good idea to know what they were charging, cause we wanna be competitive city to drive them in. And that's where you guys come
And
in,
reasonable.
and reason, yeah. So,
It would be helpful.
yep. And this one is going before that January 2nd plan as well, so we'll make sure we get that sent over, and if there are more discussion taking place on this, feel free to, let's talk more and make sure you guys get what you want out of your fee structure that's funding, cause, that's what you guys do. There is another one that's kind of a hot topic, I could go through all of these line by line, but I'm trying to hit the highlight ones that I think are like the red flags that if I was you. Another one is a false nuisance alarm. This is pretty wild, but do you remember that heat map that I showed you on the prior one? I didn't throw any heat map because I don't think it's appropriate to name businesses or anything in, and that kind of alludes to that. But we have a couple of places that we go to give you an idea on false alarms about 40 times a year. And that's pretty crazy for a false alarm. That takes away the service. So to deter a 40 alarm place per year that we're going out because they burn toast and they allow toasters in a room, or say for example they're not maintaining their system as they should be, so we're constantly going out, or they have a check valve that needs to be replaced and it'll pass the inspection but it constantly fails, and so we're getting water bumps in that area because their check valve needs to be replaced. Trying to draw out some other ones. They have construction going on in their site and they refuse to put their thing in test mode or cover their systems up and then remove it, at nighttime and so forth, and work with them. We get these alarms, so this gives us the ability, upon the fire marshal going out using prudence, just like a police officer would, if he sees it fit and he's like, you're not listening, you need to get this repaired, he can issue a, give me a second, $125 nuisance alarm on the fourth alarm within 60 days.
Yeah.
To give you an idea, other cities around us are doing a fourth alarm within 12 months. If your brain's kind of tied in, ours is much more lenient because every 60 days you can reset. So if you're having issues, what I wanted to create was if you're having issues just in a couple of months, we're your friendly neighborhood fire department. We are happy to help you. We are not charging your fees there. So, but if you're going to do this multiple times and never fix it within 60 days, those are the business or the locations and the alarm systems that really need to get on it. And sometimes it's not the businesses, it's actually the property management company. And so, not all the time do they live in Murray or around here, or the businesses that are dealing with the alarm. So it really gets their attention when you start saying, hey, you're gonna have to, because it's not the businesses, the property management companies. So,
And what's concerning about that is while you're over here on a false alarm, there may be, other alarms coming that are really risk,
it is.
When you go to the schools, do you talk about that? About the kids pulling the fire alarms? Cause I've been in schools where the kids have pulled the fire alarm and we all go out and there's no fire. But do you talk to the kids in elementary school so when they start getting into junior high, they know you don't touch those and?
I can't say we actually hit on that. We go for more, we hit every second grader, every fire prevention year, but we don't go over the fire pull stations specifically for it. That is something that we could maybe do some outreach on. I have to say, Murray, we actually do pretty good on, we don't have a whole lot of kids pulling fire alarms. If you're aware, your local churches around here also have pull stations. And sometimes there's some, whatever
Or a
level.
phone on the wall and they call and,
Yeah.
yeah.
and maybe you don't want them to know they're there.
Well, they're there because the kids in junior high and high school, they know they're there and they know what will.
Since
They
I
just-
know your background, I'll say our best folks that have always helped us out are the Pams of the world that have worked in the school, and then I don't know, kids have like this fear.
They do.
They don't wanna be in the front office.
Don't we?
But I haven't noticed, yeah, a situation, I'm kinda curious, I'm gonna actually look at how many times we've been to an alarm, fire alarm. Yeah, on that continuum program, on my stats, I can pull how many times we've been to a school fire alarm. They should
I
have
know
never
you've
given
been
me
to
that
one,
program.
because I was in the building.
Yeah. And it's embarrassing for
And I was
everybody,
kinda like,
they're
oh,
like,
it's raining.
Maybe they give that same training to Congress, but they don't hold it.
yeah, there's a chance. It's, my dark horse that's in the room is one of these fire engine standby, a wild fire engine standby, and then EMS standby. I have to admit, we have charged for our ambulances doing a standby in the past, and we've never had a fee structure. I'm sorry. We need to get this in the fee structure if we want to
What
get
is this stand?
every Murray High School football game, we have
Got
an
it.
ambulance sitting
Yep,
there.
got it.
And you guys could, at any,
Yeah.
even though these fees are in there, as you guys chose to give that as your donation, a fee. I'm forgetting the name officially of it, but in like May, when you guys do that, you guys could donate stuff like that. In the past, we haven't, but and it's about like $2,500 they cover for first aid and EMS and stuff to be covered.
And
I
you've
think
done,
it was 25.
but do you go over to Cottonwood or just here?
We-
Both of them or?
This last season, we actually didn't do Cottonwood. They didn't invite us, so they can private shop it out
Okay,
as well. So Gold Cross covered that this last year. Prior to that, we were always up there. So,
They should be aware of the cost.
yeah, because those are not my on-duty crews. Because we need to keep those crews. They cannot play if that ambulance leaves. The ambulance is actually not there to transport the patient. Although I tell our guys, listen, if it's an emergency, you can leave, and the next ambulance will come and fill in. So the game can go on, of course. But the agreement that they have is we're not allowed to leave. You know, we just do the first aid until the ambulance gets there. But they don't understand how the big picture works. An ambulance leaves, one fills in. They don't
Yeah.
even know what the face behind it is.
I think it's a matter of goodwill, but I think they also need to be aware, there is a cost.
Yeah, and they've been great with it at Murray High. I'm not for sure if Gold Cross is charging less than us. I do know Granite School District didn't want to deal with two agencies, so Gold Cross does all of their high schools.
oh, okay.
Where Murray just has one high school in our city. They're happy to just deal with us.
Sure.
All right, I didn't give you a whole lot of time for questions on this, if I'm on time, but we've kind of answered some questions. What other questions you guys maybe have for the fee schedule on there?
Thank you, Chief.
I don't believe that I was on time, so I'm
Did
not
great.
believing that.
Thank you.
The mayor told me I had to like be on. Okay, I'm making that up.
The ones that I've been to over at the old station.
The CERT classes and the CBR classes, and then those fees are in here as well. And those are
I
just
saw
typical
that.
fees. Yep, when we do.
I was gonna ask that.
Currently right now, the second Tuesday of every month, we do CPR. CERT classes we schedule just as needed, but we just finished up one. And, I apologize, I didn't invite you guys out to this last CERT class, but it was kind of like a neighborhood, they had just their people there, but I'm sure you guys would have loved to have, so I apologize for not getting that out. Where I've kind of slacked is, I'm not always involved as I was before when you guys were getting those notifications, so I'll work on that.
It's fine,
But
because I just happened to see it here, and I was just wondering, is these the classes that you teach over at the old fire station?
we're gonna start some new cool stuff too, community risk reduction, Fire Marshal Poles is gonna do, those will all be free, it's just all safety oriented. Like, we're gonna be more involved with
Did
school
you-
fire alarm.
Did you find somebody that took Tom's place?
No, we're struggling in the CERT area to have that same, so we actually, so Tom came back to me and said, actually, I'll stay here and do the QA, but he's not doing the cert. So he does a little bit different. It's like 1 hour a week.
Oh,
He
okay.
reviews our run reports because he's such a smart guy.
Yeah.
He does our QA. And
Fair
he said he'll do that for at least another year. And I said, hey, I'll take it. No, it's just Kobe Atkinson, one of our full timers. It's probably a little bit more of a cost than what we'd like to run it. And it's because he's not always on shift. Some of it's when he's on shift, other times we adjust around people's schedule, but.
All right, anything else?
No, we're good.
Seeing none, we are adjourned and we will reconvene in about 10 minutes.
Oh, you are fast.
Right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Canvassers meeting. I will be conducting the meeting. It is Wednesday, December 6th, and it is 6:20. So, okay. And with that, I will invite our recorder, Brooke Smith, to the dais.
Thank you. I first want to just acknowledge that the board members are here except for Rosalba Dominguez. She was excused, but we have the mayor and all the rest of the council members here. I wanted to just acknowledge that earlier today you should have received an email from me with the official results from Salt Lake County Elections Office. And before we delve into the election results, I wanted to let the audience know a brief overview of the voter participant turnout. In Murray City District 1, 3, and 5, there are a total of 16,239 active registered voters. Of that, 5,942 ballots were mailed in or dropped off at the ballot box. An additional 90 were cast in person. There was 9 electronic votes that were issued for our uniformed and overseas citizens, and then there was 1 provisional ballot that was issued. In sum, a total of 6,036 ballots were counted, reflecting an overall turnout of 37.2% of the registered voters in Murray. For some historical data, from the primary to the general, there was an 8.1% increase in the voter turnout. And then compared to 4 years ago in 2019, we had an increase of 3.77%, so almost 4% increase from 4 years ago. So we like those numbers going up, and that's exciting. As for the votes for District 1, there was 1,174 votes, a percentage of 27.9%. Paul Pickett received 696 votes, constituting a percentage of 59.28%. David W. Rogers received 478 votes, a percentage of 40.72%. And then in turning our attention to District 3, there was a total of 2,079 votes counted, and that's a 37.93%. Rosalba Dominguez received 1,095 votes, constituting a 52.65% of the total votes. Clark Bolin received 984 votes, a percentage of 47.3% or 47.33 of the total votes. With District 5, there was a total number of votes for District 5 at 2,762, which is 42.51%. Adam Hawk received 1,553 votes. That's a percentage of 56.23%. And then Gary Harekesi received 1,209 votes, which is 43.77% of the votes. All of these results were administered and verified by Salt Lake City County Elections Office. And based on the results, the candidates who received the most votes for each district are Paul Pickett for Council District 1, Rosalba Dominguez for Council District 3, and Adam Hawk for Council District 5. Is there any questions? Okay, if there's no questions, I'd like to request the Board of Canvassers consider adopting the resolution certifying the election results.
Thank you. Seeing no questions, do I have a motion?
I would like to make a motion to a resolution certifying the election results.
I will second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No.
Seeing none, do you want to call the roll?
I'll call the roll. Mayor Helms,
Aye.
Mr. Rogers,
Aye.
Ms. Cotter,
Aye.
Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Harekesi.
Aye.
Okay. I do have 2 papers that I will send down the row for signatures. Please don't leave without signing those. And then for the candidates that are here that are moving forward, I have 2 packets. Just make sure I'll turn those out right now. So.
Wonderful.
Thank
And I
you.
just want to say thank you for everything you did with the election. It was, you ran a great election, so thank you.
You guys were great to work with, so I appreciate it.
All right, and with that, the Board of Canvassers is adjourned. And we will move, so we will wait 5 minutes and then we will move into our next meeting, which is the Municipal Building Authority meeting. So we are adjourned for 5 minutes. Thank you. Right, thank you all for being here. It is 6:30, and we are going to begin the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City meeting. I'm Gary Harekesi, and I will be conducting the meeting, so I will call this meeting to order. We will start with the approval minutes. Pam, is there anything else? Are we good? Okay. Sorry, we will start with the approval of the minutes for the Municipal Building Authority meeting from November 14th, 2023. Are there any changes to the minutes?
No.
All right, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Municipal Building Authority minutes from November 14th, 2023.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Brooke, would you call the roll?
Mr. Rogers?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter? Aye. Ms. Turner? Mr. Harekesi?
Aye. And I do want to note that Councilwoman Dominguez is excused from this meeting. We will move on to our public hearing. So we have a public hearing to receive input from the public with respect to the issuance and sale by the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City, Utah, of not more than $25 million aggregate principal amount of lease revenue bonds, Series 2024, and any potential economic impact that improvements, facility or property financed in whole or in part with the proceeds of the bonds may have on the private sector and related matters. And we will have Brenda Moore presenting.
Okay, so this is the last step, or the final step in the financing for the rebuild of the Public Works facilities, which the MBA board will be involved in. As you know, in preparation for community and economic development, moving out of the Public Works building and into this building, a needs assessment was done by Galloway and Company. During the presentation on May 16th, we learned that the current facility and layout is barely adequate to meet the current needs and inadequate for the city's expected growth. Also, the admin building is old, twice the size it needs to be, not earthquake safe or ADA compliant. And personally, I feel like this area of the city is almost, if not more important than the office side of this building, because these are the people who pave my road, plow my road, make sure my water comes out of my tap, make sure when I flush it goes away. I never want to see it. That is the most important thing that they do out there. They pick up my garbage and they make sure the rainwater flows away from my house. Those are the very important things that they do and keep the city safe. And so they should have a safe place that when we do have an earthquake or an emergency, their facilities maintain, and then they can go out and fix anything else that broke. On November 14th, you approved the bond parameters, which you just stated, the ground facility leases, and for contracts between the MBA and the city, and all the other legal documents necessary to finance the project. These bonds will cross-collateralize with City Hall. So if we don't make the City Hall payment, or we don't make the Public Works payment, we lose both properties. They're both very necessary for the city, so I don't think that that will ever happen. We just need to know that that is there. And tonight, we're just here to receive comment on the issuance of these bonds. And following the public comments, there is a resolution for you to consider which acknowledges that the public hearing was held. So.
Thank you. With that, we will open the public hearing portion. I want to remind anyone that you have 3 minutes. Please step to the podium, state your name and city of residence, and fill out the required form that is with Patty Johnson there. And the public hearing is now open. All right, seeing no one approaching the podium, we will close the public hearing, and then we will move forward to the next item, which is to consider a resolution acknowledging the holding of a public hearing to receive public input with respect to A, the issuance of the Series 2024 bonds, and B, any potential economic impact that the project described herein to be financed with the proceeds of the Series 2024 bonds may have on the private sector. Is there a motion?
I will make a motion to adopt the resolution acknowledging the holding of a public hearing to receive public input with respect to A, the issuance of the Series 2024 bonds, and B, any potential economic impact that the project described herein to be financed with the proceeds of the Series 2024 bonds may have on the private sector.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
None.
All right, Brooke, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Rogers?
Aye.
Ms. Cutter?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Hi.
Mr. Hackasey?
Aye. Wonderful, and that was our last item on that agenda, so we are adjourned for 5 minutes until 6:40 when we will begin the council meeting. Thank you. All right, thank you everyone for being here. It is December 6th, 2023, and this is the Murray City Municipal Council meeting. I'm Gary Harekesi, and I'm the council chair, and I will be conducting this meeting. Again, thank you for everyone for being here. Councilwoman Dominguez is excused from the meeting. Otherwise, all council members are present. With that, we will move first to the Pledge of Allegiance, and I've invited my wife, Jill Harekesi, to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will move forward to the approval of the minutes for the council meetings on October 17th, 2023 and November 14th, 2023. Are there any changes to either of the minutes? Sorry, November 14th. Seeing there are no changes, I will take them together.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 17th and the minutes of the November 14th, 2023 meetings.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Brooke, would you call the roll?
Mr. Cotter, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Rogers.
Aye.
Ms. Cotter. Oh, Ms. Cotter.
Yes.
No, sorry about that. I caught myself off guard. Sorry about that. Ms. Cotter.
Aye.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Mr. Harekesi.
Aye. Wonderful. And with that, we will move forward to our employee recognition for Delia Hernandez, our business licensing administrator, and I will be at the podium with Phil Markham and the mayor. So I will just start out by reading the reason for recognition. So Delia consistently demonstrates exceptional dedication, knowledge, and dependability, along with a great attitude that makes her an outstanding candidate for this recognition. Since Delia started in 2021, she quickly adapted to her role in business licensing. She is also willing to assist the building and planning departments as needed. This is all because of her positive attitude, willingness to learn, and accept new responsibilities. Customers often seek out Delia for help because of her abundance of knowledge and trustworthiness. Delia's friendly demeanor has a positive impact on our workplace culture, and she has earned the admiration of her coworkers. In conclusion, I recommend Delia Hernandez for the Employee of the Month Award because of her contributions and her attitude are indispensable components of the Community and Economic Development Department. So with that, I have a certificate from the council and the mayor, as well as a $50 gift card for you. So thank you. Congratulations. And I will invite Mayor Hales.
Yeah, we're just, you know what? Since we've got the group here, I know, it's so hard when you have your back, because usually we're speaking. We're speaking to the council, so I, as Gary, would just like to congratulate you, and I got to meet Delia's family at our Christmas tree lighting, and her father. Let me tell you, he explained how to say your name, and by the time I got through, I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to concentrate on this and just do a little better, because we had, I said to Gary when he was coming down, I said, you've been practicing that. And he said, yes, I have. So anyway, Delia, we are excited to be able to present Employee of the Month to you. We appreciate all you do. We know it's huge in our community to be bilingual, and for you to be able to speak Spanish to our citizens is amazing. And I've used her several times. I speak poquito español, MUI, and it's really broken, but I can get out a few things, and then I have to head over to that department to get help. So we appreciate it. You don't just do it for your planning department, but you do it for all the whole city. So thank you very much. We appreciate that you share that, and we as administration appreciate all you do for our city. So thank you for your hard work and all you do, and let's give her another hand.
I'd just like to say, about Delia, her smile, her enthusiasm, it's infectious. And everybody in the department just enjoys interacting with her. She's more than willing to help anybody at any time. And my office is way in the back. And typically, when an employee comes from all the way up in the front counter, all the way back to get me, it's one of these, okay, give me a minute, But when Delia comes back, it's totally different. I really enjoy working with her every day, and she just makes the day better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Per my director's request, this is going to be in Spanish. It's a great feeling to receive the Employee of the Month recognition because it's been a short time that I've been working for Murray City, and it got that soon. I love my job here in Murray City. Business licensing is a really interesting department. I learn something new every day in that department. I really love working for Murray. I love my new cubicle. I love the new building. And I love the relief in the Spanish-speaking customers' face when they notice that I speak Spanish. It's a very grateful feeling to see the relief in their face, and they're so happy. And and I feel very grateful for Priscilla's training when I started working here. She was amazing. She was very patient. I've learned a lot from her, and I keep learning from her every day. I work here. And I could not ask for better coworkers, better supervisor, Priscilla, and a better director. That Phil is. He doesn't stop offering his help and reminding us that he's there for everybody whenever we need him. And thank you, my husband, for all his support. Thank you, my friends that are here, my coworkers. And I'm a hard worker. I work hard for my own improvement, and being recognized just make me feel very motivated to work harder and to work better. Thank you.
All right, we will move ahead to our citizen comments portion. Citizen comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please step to the microphone, state your name, city of residence, and fill out the required form with Patty. She's sitting there on like the third row. She just raised the clipboard. If you are here for the public hearings, that will come later, so please wait for your public comment regarding those public hearings at that time. And with that, we will open the public comment portion.
Gary, real quick, can Delia and her family leave?
Oh, yes, absolutely,
Okay.
please. You don't have to stay. Thank you.
Priscilla, you need to stay. I'm kidding you.
And with that, the public comment portion is open.
My name is Delyn Barney. Okay. They're best if they're side by side.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you want them side by side?
Yes. Starting again. My name is Delyn Barney. I live at 4902 South Box Elder Street, maybe about a block from here. Mayor Hales, Murray City Council members, Murray City Attorney, and citizens of Murray City, thank you for a very nice Christmas tree lighting ceremony. I had the pleasure and opportunity to meet some of you and your families at that ceremony. On August 22nd, 2023, Murray City Redevelopment Agency, RDA, considered a resolution authorizing the marketing and sale of real property within the Central Business District located at 4868, 4878, and 4872 South Box Elder Street. The location of the property identified as 4872, parcel 039, although technically accurate, is historically and positionally inaccurate. 4872, parcel 039, and parcel 040 were created from 4874 South Box Elder Street, parcel 008. When compared side by side and overlaid, they look almost identical. That's the overlay of the map to the left. However, I apologize for the time this is taking to get this. However, when 039, which is this one right here, and 008 are aligned together, it shifts all the boundary lines from Fifth Avenue and Fourth Avenue up about 8 feet. That's where technically that's correct, but positionally, further back than 1987, when these parcels were set up back to 1911, they were identified surrounding Fifth Avenue and Fourth Avenue. Yes, I realize that property boundaries lines change. However, the basic layout stays the same. I feel that Murray City should not sell the properties listed above, especially 4872 South Box Elder Street, until the boundary lines and descriptions are corrected to reflect the boundary lines and property lines that have been in existence for many years. Thank you for your time, and I would like to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's.
Thank you.
Same to you, Dylan.
All right, seeing no one else, we will go ahead and close the public comment or the citizen comment portion, and we'll move on to our consent agenda. We have Mayor Hales presenting to consider a confirmation of the mayor's reappointment of Samuel Ingram to the MCCD Review Committee for a 3-year term beginning January 1st, 2024. Consider the confirmation of the mayor's reappointment of Ray Beck to the MCCD Review Committee for a 3-year term beginning January 1st, 2024. Consider the confirmation of the mayor's reappointment of Jeremy Lowry to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term beginning January 1st, 2024. And to consider a confirmation of the mayor's reappointment of Jake Pearson to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term beginning January 1st, 2024. Mayor?
Thank you, Gary. We just, if any, I don't believe any of them are here, but if you're here, will you please stand? Okay. These are reappointments, and we just want to express our appreciation for all that our volunteers do. This is what makes Murray City who we are, is we have so many volunteers that are willing to help. We have, I don't know how many volunteers, but we have hundreds of volunteers that make this city what it is today. So we're grateful, and we appreciate the council is willing to consider confirmation of these appointments. And so without further ado, and I won't go through that again, we'll just ask if you would be willing to confirm these appointments.
I'll take a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion?
None.
Seeing none, Brooke, would you call the roll?
Mr. Cotter? Oh my gosh, I've done it again. I'm so sorry. Mr. Rogers?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Harekesi?
Aye. Thank you.
I apologize for that.
We're gonna have to separate you two down there if this continues. I don't wanna have to get Bill on the phone. Okay. With that, we will move forward to our public hearing portion. And so first, we will consider a resolution of the Murray City Municipal Council approving an adjustment to the wastewater service boundaries it has in common with Mid-Valley Improvement District. And we have Russ Kakla presenting. Together. And so should I talk about this? And I'll also mention the second one because we'll do the public hearing together. And then vote separately. So to consider a resolution of the Murray City Municipal Council accepting the plat depicting the adjustment to the wastewater service boundaries the city has in common with the Mid-Valley Improvement District. So both of those. Please.
Okay, do you guys want a recap on what this covers exactly, or do you have a clear understanding of the reasoning for these after this process?
They want a little recap.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so basically, this is, this is adjusting a boundary, Mid-Valley's district boundary with Murray City. Their Mid-Valley's district boundary has not been updated since 1947, so this is clarifying the legal description. This truly affected 2 properties, and the resolutions are accepting the plat and accepting the new boundary description. Is that sufficient enough? Yeah, okay.
Perfect. Anything else? Okay, as this is a public hearing, we will go ahead and open the public hearing on both of the items as mentioned. Seeing no one approaching the podium, I will close the public hearing and I will turn it back to the council for any questions.
I have none. We were educated at the committee of the whole, so.
Right.
Wonderful, and we will take each one separately, so if we have a motion on the first.
I will make a motion to approve a resolution of the Murray City Municipal Council approving an adjustment to the wastewater service boundaries it has in common with Mid-Valley Improvement District.
I second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Brooke, would you call the roll?
Mr. Rogers?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Harekesi?
Aye. And then the second?
I'd like to make a motion to approve a resolution of the Murray City Municipal Council accepting the plat depicting the adjustment to the wastewater service boundaries the city has in common with the Mid-Valley Improvement District.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion?
None.
Seeing none. Brooke, would you call the roll?
Mr. Rogers?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Harakisi?
Aye. Both measures pass, and there are no business items scheduled. We will, or on the list, we will move to the mayor's report and questions.
Thanks, Gary. Just a couple things. We've mentioned a little bit of it tonight, but boy, we had a phenomenal turnout to our tree lighting Saturday evening. It was packed. We don't know exactly, but we're guessing through the entire, there were people there about 5:30, maybe even a little earlier, and went till about 8:30, 8:45, and we think we had about 400 to 500 residents, guests join us. We had Santa there. It took about 2.5 hours to get through that line. It didn't take 2.5. We had about a 2.5 hour line, and it was just great. Everything worked perfect. I'll tell you, I know you all know this, but the power department made me a switch. It was fake, but it looked real. And last year I just did the Chevy Chase thing, and I said, come on, let's make it a little more. And there were 3 people operating the lights, and they were saying, now don't do it on 1, do it on 0. And so Santa decides to help me and puts his hand on the switch, and I could feel it start to move at 1. I've never had more strength in my life. I was holding that thing and not letting him pull down. And it was kind of cool that it went down to 0, and they all of the areas that needed to be lit perfectly. And I got to tell you, I know some of you saw, but we had, I'm not going to say any names because we had so many employees involved in putting that tree up. That is a beautiful tree. It's 70 feet high, and the 4 trees around it are 20 feet. And we had every single department, I mean every department over here working on that, getting it ready for Saturday evening. And we had some hiccups, as what happens on something like this. And but anyway, it's turned out beautiful. I don't know if the music's on now, can't hear it in here, but it is. So the music's on, it's cool. So we had some little hiccups with that, and they've just got everything working great. So just a big appreciation. I'd really like to give the employees, all of our employees, a big hand for all of it. Yes, that was for you, Russ, also, so I just want to make sure you. Poor Russ. He just has that, anyway. So real quick, I just want to tell you a couple little closures. Now, is 3rd West I-250, that's the one that's going to be closed, is that correct? When is that taking place, Russ? When does that close? Right now. So that's going to be closed. Third. Okay, southbound. 3rd West at Big Cottonwood Creek, the bridge there, that's going to be limited lanes. So we will have a lane open there. So those are the things I'm going to let you know. And then before I'll say one more thing, but I just wanted to thank Gary and David for your service on the council. It's been fun getting to know you two. You've been very supportive to our city, our employees. Thank you. Thanks for meeting with us. We meet with the council. This wasn't happening before, but we meet with the council every other week, and we're just appreciative because we know you have busy lives and everything, and you're always willing to come in and meet. So we as administration and all the employees want to wish all of you a great success. Thank you. I know both of you have plans in the future. Trust me, I know this. So we look forward to it, and thank you for all you've done for our city.
Thank you. As this is the final meeting for the year, and it'll be my final meeting up here as well as David's, I just wanted to take a moment and see if, David, if you had anything you wanted to say.
I'll take a quick second if that's all right.
Please. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to thank the administration, thank the mayor. I want to thank my fellow council members for being so great to work with, so awesome. I've gotten to know them. I've gotten to know a lot of employees in this city, and it's been such a privilege and such an honor to be able to be here. I'm really happy that I got to be here, got to be part of it. I've always loved local government. I've always thought it's incredibly important, and it's where the rubber meets the road, literally. And so I'm really, really excited that I got to be up here, and just want to thank everyone who's helped make this such a great opportunity for me.
And I will also take a few minutes of privilege, so please bear with me here as I prepared some remarks. To the residents of District 5 in Greater Murray, the last 2 years have been an honor and a privilege to represent you all on the City Council. It all began in February of 2022 with live interviews for hours as 12 of us residents vied to fill this important seat. In my interview, I spoke of the challenges that Murray was facing, from housing and density to shrinking resources. I quoted the late co-founder of my company, "Be passionate to the point of ridicule," as the way that I would handle each and every day of my term. I can confidently say that I brought my passion to serve, my passion to improve the city, and my passion to always do the right thing regardless of the ramifications each and every minute that I have sat in this seat. I was unanimously elected chair at the beginning of this year, and I have carried my passion all the way through. In these short 2 years, I have accomplished the following with the support of my colleagues. Although I was not part of planning for the new City Hall, when I came aboard, I looked at the plans and proposed that we reduce the amount of turf and increase the water-wise green space. The administration agreed and we made the change. We now have a City Hall that we are proud of, not only for its beauty in the building, but we can be confident knowing we are using water conservatively. We passed 2 strong budgets that reduced tax increases originally proposed, but still created impressive wage increases for our employees and funded numerous city priorities. We entered into contract negotiations for the sale of the old City Hall site while ensuring citizens' priorities were incorporated into the zone, including lowering building heights, increasing parking, and enhanced green space. We passed a reasonable power increase phased in over 3 years that will set the power department up for success over the next several years. We adjusted regulations around solar on commercial buildings that would make it more advantageous for businesses to add solar to their buildings. When I was elected chair, I jumped in immediately to make the following improvements. I asked the council staff to challenge the status quo. I was tired of hearing, "This is the way we've always done things. Our residents deserve more." I worked to eliminate lavish meals for most meetings when they were short and not necessary. I worked to create transparency, accountability, and a cap for council travel, and I encouraged the new council to maintain this policy change. Residents were absolutely horrified when they read the article and saw what was being spent on travel. Eliminating unnecessary meetings. There's no reason to meet just to meet. Meetings need to have a purpose and a goal. I worked to consolidate the council handbook with Jennifer and consolidate the policies, reducing redundancy, confusion, and eliminating conflicting policies. I empowered the council team to take on projects to improve processes, including the process for nonprofit fee waivers and donations. To the Murray City employees, thank you for all you have done for me, my family, and our city. We have a team that is second to none. Chiefs Middleman and Burnett, and all of the heroes in police and fire, thank you for what you each do each and every day. Your efforts are nothing short of awe-inspiring, and I'm so honored to support you all. To Greg Ballon and the Power team, thank you for your collaboration and the efforts you have made to make the department a better, stronger place. To Kim Sorensen and the Parks, Arts, and Recreation team, thank you for making Murray a better place to live and enhancing the value of these services to all residents. To Brenda, Brooke, and the finance and recorder teams, thank you for ensuring that we can all have confidence in the strength of our finances, our elections, and the future stability of this great city. To Russ Kakala and the Murray Public Works, thank you for your responsiveness and ensuring that we have flood-free areas, clean and safe roads, and safe sidewalks. To Phil Markham and this Community and Economic Development team, thank you for shepherding us through the challenging zoning matters and truly focusing on making Murray a strong economic place to work and live. To my council team, Jennifer, Patty, and Crystal, thank you for everything, whether it's attending to the needy council members, responding to last-minute requests, and finding ways to make meetings more efficient. We could not do it without each of you. To the departments that I've missed, thank you for everything that you have done to make the lives of the residents great and to help all of us council members through all these decisions. To the mayor and the administration, thank you for all the mentorship, the collaboration, and the collegiality that you have shown throughout these last 2 years. From what I've been told, this is a great change from prior administrations. To my council that I've served with over the last 2 years, specifically and especially Rosalba and Pam, thank you for always supporting me, working with me towards the common goal of doing what's best for Murray, regardless of personal benefits, and ensuring that we make Murray the best city to live in. You are people who care greatly about your community, and I'm glad that you both get to continue on serving. Now to my supporters, many of whom are here. Thank you. Thank you for your confidence and help. Thank you for all the hours spent knocking doors, making phone calls, and for all those dollars donated. It was an incredible campaign, and we could not have done it without you. The cards were stacked heavily against us from the beginning, but we can say proudly that we left it all on the field. I want you all to hold your heads up high, and I'm forever grateful. To my sister Macy and her family, thank you for all your support. It was always a treat having you knock doors and walk in the parade with me. To my mother Terry, thank you. Thank you for jumping in and putting all your efforts into my campaign. There were numerous doors that I knocked where people would say, "Now we heard your mother was out knocking, the blonde lady." And it was the talk of the area. You should feel great about what you did. You are an incredible advocate, and I'm lucky to not only call you mom, but also call you my biggest cheerleader and friend. To my daughters, Grace and Ella, I'm so grateful for all you sacrificed while Dad was out meeting the district. You each are incredible, and I want you to take away a lesson that we as Herekases may get knocked down, but the most important thing is that we come back stronger in the future. To my wife, Jill, I'm not sure that there are enough thanks to give you. From the beginning, you have stood firmly behind me. As most of you may know, but many of you may not, we are expecting our third daughter in early February. And you were basically a single parent each night as I was out meeting the residents. You did it gracefully, thoughtfully, and with so much love. I do not believe that there is a better person or partner to have in your corner helping you fight the good fight. You took on the role with me proudly, and you helped me serve my constituents to the best that we could. I have no doubt that our next journey will be even stronger and better. I thank you for challenging my positions, reminding me of my blind spots, and being an amazing person to lean on. I love you so much, and I cannot wait to see what is next. To the incoming council members, especially my successor, Adam, I ask that as a soon-to-be constituent, that you focus on doing what is right for your residents. Make your citizens proud for the decisions you make as a public servant. Focus on what is best for the residents. You are secondary to them. There is so much negativity around politicians. Always ask yourself, would I be comfortable with this decision or this policy being printed? And would my residents be happy? Be proud, be bold, and be passionate. As you enter public life, know there will be trolls and things that may upset you and your family. I ask you to remember, you are enough. Thank you all for being here. I conclude by reminding us all to do as Ms. Murray has laid out in the Kindness Project, to be kind to each other. Share a smile or a hello. You never know what people are going through and whose life you may impact just a little bit. Thank you. Thank you all. And with that, if there's nothing else, we are adjourned.